So I'm gonna start with a very not really like serious question, and this is gonna be how did you choose your internet name slash username? It comes from Jason J. And I got my name from my username on my PlayStation that I had it a long time ago. It was based off of the movie with Ashton Kutcher, and that was The Guardian, which I thought was cool. And I thought the name sounded cool. And so I've always been going by Guardian. That's my alias, I guess. What about your guys' names on Blah?
Oh, boy.
Poet, you start.
Poet, it's pretty obvious. I've been using that name for a long time, like, when it comes to, like, online. Whether it be gamer tags or whatever, but it just stems from I like to write, pretty much it. And sometimes when I talk, people are like, "Are you trying to rhyme?" No, Sometimes I just speak so oddly that fucking thinks I'm acting like a poet, and I didn't even know it, but I knew it. I just talk.
Do you like poetry?
That's odd for me because I'm not one of those people who's like one of my favorite poets is, that's I don't read that much into it. I just like writing. I like reading. I like words. Like there's no I like poetry. I like this literature or that. I just like fucking. It could be a billboard. I just like reading. I like words. I know that sounds probably really odd, a person who's just like really into words, but I have books on, I like etymology, I like to read about the roots, I like to read about the history of writing. I'm just really into words.
Nice. Have you read the dictionary?
All the time. That's like I would read the dictionary every morning, just wake up, read the dictionary. I recently bought this book at a Goodwill called A Book of Scripts, and it totally goes into from the very beginnings of penmanship, the whole idea of why the hell did we start putting words to paper in the first place? It goes into all that. It's pretty fascinating. But yeah, I'm just a word whore.
What about you, Stu, Mr. Red Sentinel?
Mine's a little cheesier than that, I guess. I'm a little bit like Poet in that I like certain words, and Sentinel is just when I say it just rolls off the tongue in such a pleasing way.
Did you derive that by any means from The Matrix?
No, actually, more so from X-Men.
Didn't it used to be Red Sentinel?
Yeah, I am Red Sentinel.
Yeah,
you just say that in like a superhero voice. I am.
Hang on. I am Red Sentinel.
Oh, that's excellent.
I really like the idea of a protector or just the idea of a stalwart figure that stands in defiance of really anything. And red's my favorite color. And more often than not, I just put it there because Sentinel's usually taken.
Stefano, Shimmering Soul.
Yeah, mine is it's kind of weird. I mean, I was actually thinking about someone else when I came up with it. And I was actually high for the first time.
Oh, I love it.
It was pretty interesting because I was at a heavy metal concert.
Oh, I like it even more.
And
wow,
it was the first time that I was exposed to heavy metal music. And so it was like it was an interesting night. It was the first time for doing that, first time for smoking weed. So after I got high, I was looking across the street and there was like a nightclub or something, and there was this girl there. There was this like neon light right above her that was like shimmering, and she just looked like really lonely, So it just like came to me. I was like, "Wow, shimmering soul." So I like walked across the street. I was like really giddy at that point, so I was just like, I was thinking about like 1,000 things at the same time.
Yeah, that's
wow.
usually the thing.
I
Yeah.
actually thought you got your name off of the Blah Therapy chat and just put it into one word. So I apologize. I
No.
apologize.
Yeah, so, and then it just kind of stuck. So I was like, well, it sounds good. You know, even though I didn't really put that much thought into it, it just like, it was my first reaction when I saw that girl. And so, but ultimately, it's interesting because it kind of, it went bad, that relationship, but for some reason, I just never changed the name, you know, kind of still feel this fondness toward it, so.
Hey guys, quick thing. We have reached 200 members. Thank you, Kay, for letting us know that.
Oh, awesome.
That
That's
is
a milestone.
That is a milestone.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
All right, let's keep it up. So Rebecca Riley, where did
That's me.
we? Okay, yours. We know where we got it from. Integrated
Well-
Yard.
Yeah, it was my first name on one of the chats that I had, or one of my first names. So I kind of had no idea what to do as a username, and that was one of my first names. So I was like, okay, sure, why not? So that's my cheesy story.
Nice. Hey, whoever's typing, Mr. Typer, mute your mic if you're gonna type, please. I beg you.
As you were the one doing the typing thing in the chat.
I would. Well, I wasn't. I won't. They won't hear that. They won't pick it up. But they won't pick that up. But they will pick yours up. But it's fine. It's fine. Kay, tell us where you got Eliaris from.
It's a blend of my daughter's name. E for her first name, Liara is her middle name, and S for her last name. And occasionally you may see me as Spiffy Koji.
Spiffy
and that-
Koji.
Yeah, and that was kind of another combination name. I had a cockatiel once named Spiff, and another bird named Koji. And
So
both of
Spiffy
them
Koji.
had very unique personalities.
Spiffy Koji is the greatest username of all time. I just like that to be known.
It is pretty interesting. I almost would think of that as like when I would not expect that to be like an animal thing. I expect that to be like an anime type of name.
Huh.
Kind of
That's
a little bit.
interesting. That's pretty interesting.
I don't watch anime by any means, but I just kind of would think it would play into that a little bit for some reason.
It does feel very like cartoon almost, like a character.
Kind of. I hope
He's
that
like,
doesn't.
no.
Hope that doesn't ruin it for you.
I
No.
don't know.
They're actually very meaningful birds to me. Spiff, my friend of a very long time, gave to me before she moved across the country. So I took care of him for her. And then Koji, we had a Japanese person marry into our family. And at the wedding, there was this guy named Koji. I was like, oh my god, your name is so awesome. Can I name my bird that? And he's like, sure. And then handed me a bunch of origami.
Any one of you can answer this next one, but it's just a really random one. Now, this website has kind of a point system on it. And, like, it really matters. You know what I mean? But it kind of just shows whether or not people are active or genuinely trying to help other people within the site, I guess. But this person named Hunter wants to know, how do you earn points and stats on the site?
You don't ask stupid questions.
He's like, I see this golden number under someone's profile picture on their profile. That's the points, right?
Are
How do you
they
earn
the
points
ones?
here?
Are they the ones who said that it seems kind of like irrelevant or stupid, or was that you?
That was me. That was me.
Okay, I was gonna say first you start off saying it's stupid, but you want to know how you get them.
No, that wasn't me. That was the guy's question.
Okay, that's not a stupid question. Then. Sorry.
No, I think using the site for points is ridiculous. Like treating it like a game almost.
Does anyone actually do that though?
I wonder if the guy's asking how do you earn points, so I'm
You
so
just-
I'm insinuating that.
Like you
For
said,
points.
the
I'm
points are
kidding.
just reflective of activity. So really, you don't pay attention to the points. You just It's like they're actually not there. You know, they could easily disappear and you wouldn't notice because you would still just answer questions and participate if that's what you already do. The points just reflect that.
Like, if you see the medal thing on the site, that's if people have a large number, like Jonathan, he has like over 2,000. Like, he's a really active user, and he answers like a crap load of questions. So
Does he have gold wings?
he doesn't have points. He has more like
Yeah.
Q&A rep than points. But
That guy Poet has gold wings, if I remember correctly.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Guardian could have gold wings too. But he
Yeah,
doesn't.
see, I got the legit
Yeah, when
cheating way back in
no,
the
you cheated because they in the beginning you said that you added a ton of friends when you could actually get 5 points for adding a friend, right?
I didn't do it for the points though.
But you added a whole bunch of friends.
That's what matters.
And you started with like 9,000 of them, right?
Yeah, we only
Just
had
by adding.
No, we had like 3,000 members or something.
Oh, never.
But
mind.
I didn't add 3,000 people. I added a lot of people. I just started clicking over and over and over and over.
Oh my gosh.
But gold wings are irrelevant now because like I saw 2 other people with them and they didn't seem that cool.
Oh my gosh. All right, so this person named Thin Line here, I'll send you guys the link. I mean, it's not really a long question by any means, but it's a good question. It's a good question, and that is how to be a better person. It just says "be a better person?" ? But I'll just add that in there. This person says, "I wonder how I can be a better person with the people I love. When I don't obtain what I want, I manipulate them. Is something I don't do on purpose."
Wait, can you read that again?
I'm reading it as it says. Like I said, that's what I'm going to do from now on. I can't paraphrase chat speak efficiently.
No,
on the
read
spot.
it. Read it exactly again. Like
I
this.
wonder how can I be a better person with the people I love. When I don't obtain what I want, I manipulate them. Is something I don't do on purpose.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm not making fun of people's grammar. I'm just literally gonna I'm
No,
not gonna paraphrase things
no.
on the spot.
No, I asked because I actually didn't hear. I lost attention for a second.
Oh.
That's kind of an interesting question because a part of me is like, if you have this ability to manipulate people, and life is going well as a result of your using this gift. Oh, like I feel like she should keep rolling with it, or is it a him? I'm not certain. They should keep rolling with it until life does something about it. I know that sounds awful, but is it really like maybe they just think they're being manipulative? Because surely they can't be getting their way all the time with everyone, right?
Yeah, it's like if you're great at pickup artistry, do you really want to stop? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is kind of a different scenario because they're wanting to know how can they be a better person with the people they love.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, they have this ability, or not ability. If they have the capacity to understand that what they're doing implies that they need to become a better person than what they've already been, then they already have the answer to their question. You need to stop doing what you're doing that makes you not such a good person in your own eyes, you know?
But they said they don't do it on purpose, so they need to find I guess a different way in order to get what they want or compromise in a sense.
They're
That'd be
lying.
I
They're
wonder.
lying to themselves.
I wonder if this person has asked themselves, what is it that he wants to obtain from the people that he loves or she loves? I mean, from the people I love, I just want to obtain love back. I want reciprocity. And so maybe he should think about what it is that he's wanting to obtain. I mean, because from the people you loved, you're not really supposed to want to obtain material things. And if that's what you're trying to obtain, then there's probably a problem that you need to address.
I guess it kind of depends on what they're wanting. What they're manipulating them for, whether it be something material or getting them to do things that they want them to do. I guess I don't know the specific context of what they're wanting.
It's kind of a tough one without knowing the whole context of what they're wanting as such. But I guess I'm going to sound like such a teacher here, but it's okay because I am a teacher. But I think it's important to also realize and remember that we can't always get everything that we want in life when we want it. And some things,
That's an unfortunate reality, right?
Whatever it might be, yeah, it is unfortunate. It kind of sucks at times. But
some people don't realize that, though. I mean, sometimes people will want their own way, and if they don't get it, then
it's World War III.
Yeah.
I mean, most things that we want in life, we end up getting eventually in some way, shape, or form. But I guess they kind of just need to have patience and understanding that things will happen, or whatever they want will happen eventually.
I think it's okay to want what you want whenever you want, as long as you have an understanding that when you don't get it, you can't flip out or
you can't affect somebody else in a negative way.
Exactly. So you can be selfish, but you can't be what's the word? I don't know, demeaning to others about your selfishness.
Can't throw tantrums.
Yeah.
That is true, Pop, but the fact that she is ending up manipulating people in order to get what she wants, especially her loved ones,
Which isn't inherently a good thing. It's not a good thing at all.
No, I'm kind of wondering why, really.
Well, she learned it from somewhere.
I think
It
she
could
should
be potentially like familiar.
I think that she should find a hobby that's constructive. She needs to have control over people. So maybe like join like a team building class where you learn how to be leaders. I can't think of anything on the top of my head that would help manage your control over things, but she needs to like, practice and manage her emotions with it.
She just have better self-control, you're saying?
Yeah, but like put it into a hobby or something to practice that skill.
Oh, kind of like just redirect that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Actually, that's a great one. Redirection is very powerful.
That is, because we don't often realize that, like, this energy you have, whether you feel like it's negative or positive, you can't just get rid of it. So we can't just tell the person, stop being manipulative, as I did earlier. I now realize that what Kay's saying is she's got to find something else to do with those feelings, as opposed to just snapping her fingers and they disappear.
I mean, the person says they don't do it on purpose, but they manipulate the ones they love when they don't get what they want.
That sounds like they're manipulating us into believing that they aren't manipulative.
All right, this question comes from Andy, A-N-D-I-E. And this person asks, why do I suppress/express certain emotions? I find that in front of others, I only express happiness, anger, or irritation. I begin to get uncomfortable whenever I'm sad or worried, and I end up hiding it and not telling anyone.
Oh, that's really easy. Oh, that's just because we have a certain array of emotions that we wish to be known for or to express. It's generally more positive emotions, it's not always just positive emotions, but not many people want to be associated with sadness. Not only that, but sadness is a very uncomfortable emotion, given that it's predisposition to leaving you to, I almost want to say an inert mindset. Like when you get mad, you get like, oh, I'm going to go do this. And it's actually a pretty nice feeling when all said and done. But when you get sad, you kind of just sit in that feeling, and it's really quite terrible. So as far as overexpressing certain emotions, it's just really comes down to the ones you want to be feeling, or the ones that your mind is more predisposed to express.
That's a good point, Stu. I think social anxiety kind of ties in with this a little bit. For example, if you only express happiness in front of others and kind of live at kind of a little bit of a fake-ish type of lifestyle to present yourself in a good way to other people, yet kind of hiding what the negatives about yourself to get other people to basically make people like you more. I mean, I do that myself. I'm not going to lie. I do that all the time. In fact, I rarely ever talk about my emotions to anybody, and I always present myself positive and try to, control my emotions, whatever they may be, the best I can, in order to present myself as mature and professional almost to most people, so that way people, and subconsciously, I guess, people will like me more, but that isn't always the case.
I'm pretty much the same way, actually. And
I think a lot of people do that, though.
I wonder if, an attempt to get rid of that social anxiety, is that what drives people to substances, as opposed to always assuming that it's because they're lonely or depressed or sad. Maybe they actually just are trying to get out of this shell of, fear of society, and they resort to something. Like, for me, I've dealt with social anxiety a long time, but it wasn't until I started smoking cannabis that I didn't feel afraid of anyone. I had problems finding a job and just interacting with people. And this is when I wasn't smoking pot. I didn't want to go near this stuff. And then I start smoking it, and I feel like I can do whatever I want to improve myself. And suddenly I have 2 jobs, and suddenly I'm dating this chick. And it's it sucks that we put such a bad mark on needing a tool, whether it be medication or even a drug, to come out of that shell, because a lot of people, they need us to be more explorative when it comes to methods to helping us. Obviously, we don't want to resort to getting drunk every day to be more social, but you know what I mean.
That would have a very drastic impact on job performance and driving capability.
That would be awesome if there was a holiday where it was required. Not only did we not get the day off from work, but we had to show up at work drunk.
That would probably be really chaotic. I'm not gonna lie.
You wouldn't love that holiday.
That's a pretty good way if we want to thin the population a little bit. Just, all right, everyone, show up to work drunk. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have a good time doing it. All right, come on, go. Be ready to take one for the team.
Oh my gosh, it's 40-ounce Tuesday.
Population would drop by half within 4 months.
It would be a ritual.
Imagine all you see is drunk people just everywhere.
I imagine there probably is some place like that.
Welcome to my hometown.
That would be really. That would. Imagine you're going to a convenience store or something. You pay for something, you end up spending $5,525.35 for a bottle of soda, just because the guy is like, "Oh, it's $5."
What the fuck?
The guy just completely screws it up. That might cost you, actually. All right.
Where's
Here's
Stefan?
another one.
Stefan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Stefano.
Kiwi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you guys on the toilet or something?
I'm struggling to wrap my mind around a lot of these questions that have little context, and I don't know, maybe I'm also a little bit tired
All right,
myself.
here's one with a little more context. All right. So this person is named Claire, and they're having a clingy friend issue. And this person says, "We used to be really good friends, but recently I've been starting to find her really annoying as she keeps literally clinging onto me. And when I don't listen to her, she will physically pull me towards her and won't let go until I listen. I don't know what to do because I don't want to upset her, but I don't know what to do because she is making me feel really uncomfortable." What would you guys suggest?
A lot of people don't really know what's the acceptable way to express their feelings. I find that's really, really common in high school, which is, I imagine, where this person is. I was more or less the same, except I had a different means of inappropriately expressing feelings.
Which was?
I used to write these really depressing emails to my friends vying for attention. I'm not proud of it. I'm definitely not proud of it, but that's how it is. I've learned since then.
Did it work?
Well, I got attention, but it didn't make me feel better. It wasn't until I actually kind of realized that, oh my God, what am I doing? I mean, really, there's nothing you can do except make it very, very uncompromisingly clear that that sort of thing is unacceptable. And that if this friend can't deal with that, really, you kind of gotta just ditch.
Just let it go.
Yeah, because that's someone who isn't willing to respect your wishes. And, like, what kind of friend is that?
And real friends will be understanding, you know. Real friends won't make you feel that way if you make it clear to them that they're making you feel that way. They will just continue on. And going back to what you're saying, Stu, some people really don't know how to interact correctly. And I'm saying this in terms of being friends with people when they may not have like a big social base or have had a big social base in the past. Does that make sense?
You're like generally
Yeah.
people who aren't quite as social.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe they might just be overly excited about you being their friend. So it might not be a bad thing, but maybe they just are unaware of it. Because it says she's really annoying her when she doesn't listen to her friend. That friend will pull them towards her and won't let go until they listen.
That's weird.
So this person should, for one, set the boundaries straight. Just like you said, Stu. And that's a good point, actually. Hey, take it. This guy has almost a bachelor's in psychology.
Got a month left.
A month left.
Oh,
so he knows
boy.
what he's talking about.
And it's interesting because I was actually talking to my friend the other day who's a social worker, and he was telling me, because he works with troubled adolescents, and a lot of the adolescents he works with have boundary issues, and it comes from having had really poor social interactions with their family. If you think about it, that's where you get your first chance to build social skills, is with your family. Those are the first people you interact with in your life. And so trying to relate that to this person, it could be like if they're, for instance, I know in multiple sibling households, the youngest sibling will kind of get attention by, kind of being more clingy and just like being vocal and trying to sort of like be annoying in a way to command attention. And I don't know if this might be the case with this person, but it certainly seems like maybe that's just a coping mechanism that that's become ingrained. And it's really hard to change it, but that's why when you get out of the family environment and you start noticing how those kind of coping mechanisms that you've acquired are not helpful, in other contexts, that's what forces you to change. And so that's why I think probably Stu's advice is really good, is if you really want to be a friend to this person, you kind of have to show them that this isn't good, what they're doing. And it's not bad to distance yourself a little bit and show them that you're not going to treat them the same way that they've been treated before. Like, obviously, family members, they're going to be accommodating, and they may not necessarily tell you the truth, the painful truth that you need to hear a lot of the time. And so that's why I think some tough love is required here.
Oh, yeah.
Best kind of love.
I don't know how you guys grew up necessarily, but it doesn't seem like kids get any tough love today. it's almost like the parents don't even have time if they wanted to give them tough love because everyone's working like to death. But for me growing up, I had either an aunt, an uncle, grandfather, or my own mother to always kind of put me in line, you know? I never got anything just, for being cute or, the only boy in the family or anything like that. Even then, I still got what I consider tough love. I don't know.
Okay. Here's another question that's kind of similar, but seems a little bit more extreme. And it comes from an interesting name, Grackjack.
Grackjack. They were on crack when they wrote that one.
The title of this is "This Girl is Attacking Me." Okay, at my school, my friend's little sister, I swear she is possessed, is not right in the head as she is crazy. I will be going about my business at recess, and she will come up to me and start randomly kicking and punching me, and will chase me until I get away.
Damn.
She is scaring me and is making me go into emo mode. My friend's nickname for when I get pissed or angry. What can I do about her and the attacks? Thanks for any answers.
What grade? How old is this person where they're getting attacked in life and they don't know what to do about it?
Well, recess, when you
13,
think of that, you only get that in like middle school,
13
elementary.
according to their profile.
Yeah, they're lying
really? So,
because you don't even. I didn't get recess in junior high.
yeah, you get recess in junior high, but
You get nutrition. They call it nutrition.
What?
Yeah, I didn't. Recess is elementary.
No, you get recess in middle school.
No,
I did.
You called it.
I did.
You guys called it recess. Wait, but what's
Anyway, moving on.
Oh, we should really figure this out because if this person is a child, go to your parents. Well, technically, they're still a child in middle school, but in middle school, I can handle my own damn business. But
So they need some help.
Yeah, what do you say, teacher, professor, Kiwi?
Teacher's advice is to go and talk to a teacher or school counselor or someone, because clearly there's something more going on.
But what happens if they do that, and because they're so young, and they're probably going to go to school with all these kids for like high school as well, they become known as the snitch?
Well, actually, that's a tough question because if they go to a high school that all the kids went there,
yeah,
then that might be an issue, perhaps. But I think it's better to be known as that because, for one, you're not snitching on a gang, so you're not going to get snitch marks on your head.
I don't know.
You're not going to get those snitch marks. You know what I'm talking about? You know, the razor across your face or something. You're not going to get that.
Stefan should know about that because apparently in New York, they walk around and slice people's face with like that. Just random people. So
that's pretty jacked
up.
Up.
If this girl goes to school in New York, she may want to reconsider. She may get some snitch marks.
Not necessarily.
Definitely won't get asked to prom then.
I say who cares? Just get help and get it over with. I say it's better not to deal with that shit than have to deal with it and, let things get worse over time.
True.
Reading that question, though, like the fact that her friend's little sister is literally kicking and punching her and chasing her until she gets away, like, that's the point where I would literally be seeking a teacher's or adult's help, because that is, scary, crazy, abnormal, whatever you want to call it.
There's no way this person's in middle school and this is happening. By that age, there's no way you allow that to happen. Maybe, like, at the very least, she would have already gone to a teacher. This person has to be elementary. In that case, what the hell are they doing on the internet?
If this person's age is 13, then
that's probably the age, like, minimum you were allowed to put to register for block therapy.
Perhaps. Just go with Kiwi's advice and get some help, because if she's scaring you that bad and it's affecting your social life and it's hurting you in the process, then don't deal with that and get some help, because it's something that's bigger than what you can control.
Whatever you do, don't take your parents' gun to school. It's not that serious.
Not a good idea. No, don't do that.
Actually, one more thing I would suggest, if it's her friend's little sister, I would suggest talking to her friend about it as well, because her friend might not know what's going on.
Actually, what if this person is a guy? Because looking at the username Gragjack, that would be pretty interesting. If it would be an interesting dynamic. I mean, because as a guy, you kind of can't deal with this,
He can't hit her.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's why you should probably seek help. Go to some adult or something. I don't know.
I don't really want to talk about this issue because I'll offend people.
dude, don't care about that stuff. You know how we do. We just say, "Look at me. I don't care who I offend."
How much younger is this little sister?
We don't know.
It doesn't say specifically.
Okay. If that were me, I'd hit her back.
Yeah. Even I'll tell you right now. I don't care who doesn't like it. If you are a male and a female begins to attack you, you better throw all this chivalry bullshit out the window and defend yourself. Because if she feels fierce enough to attack someone that, let's say, just society deems more masculine than her, then she's raised herself to that level where she can get hit back. I've
seen videos of women who do that, and men, they get up, they assault her. Well, not assault, but they defend themselves because this other person is attacking them. And it's not like they go to jail or anything like that, especially if it's videotaped, because they're ultimately defending themselves. Women should not be bringing themselves to men's level and then complain if they ever get hurt in the process.
Well, I would have to disagree a little bit.
But there's a line to it. There's a fine line to how that self-defense should go, in my opinion, because women are in general they're more fragile than men. Men are more inherently stronger than women, though there are, unless you're talking about some fucking bodybuilder.
Does that mean you shouldn't beat up weaker men?
You could say.
The thing is, it seems that this person isn't communicating at all his or her efforts to diffuse the situation. All they're saying is that she will come up to me and start randomly kicking and punching me and will chase me until I get away. Have you ever just tried to say, "Hey, stop. Can you tell me why are you doing this? What's going on?" Now, maybe they have. And if they have, then obviously there's a problem. And then, but if they haven't done that and they just run away or they go into emo mode, there has to be a middle ground somewhere, where if they haven't tried that, maybe that's a good place to start. Try to see if you can diffuse the situation and verbalize with this person. If not, then obviously go to someone else and see if you can have an intervention. But
let's just say I was in this person's shoes. First thing is, the next time that person tried to assault me, I would block whatever it is they're trying to do, raise my hand up and say, "Stop." Just say, "I'm done with this. Stop, or I'm going to go get some help. And I'm going to get you in trouble. And you're not going to like that." Be very stern and defend yourself, but don't instigate anything that would escalate the situation more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I personally don't believe in fighting fire with fire. And in a sense, when this person is saying that they're going into emo mode, that's pretty much what they're saying, right? And so, there's water and fire. You kind of want to put water over fire. So there are ways to diffuse the situation, and obviously their age kind of makes it hard because when you're that young, it's not easy. You kind of think in black and white terms, but I don't know.
There's this next question here. I'm not going to go into context of it, but it presents a great open-ended question. And that is, what makes you happy? It's by Art. I know there's a whole context of the question. I give shout out to you for all that, but we're just going to answer the main question, which is, what makes you happy?
Whew. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, actually, but not so much in the context of what makes me happy, but if happiness is something to strive for, Because when you constantly strive to be something other than whatever state you're in the moment, then you're always going to be disappointed if you don't achieve it fast enough, or when you feel like you want to have it, So I've been kind of battling that right now. The idea of, is happiness something to keep making the goal, To say, oh, I want to be happy in life. What does that even mean, I don't even know. And if I keep asking myself, am I happy, and what's going to make me happy in life, I kind of just keep feeling let down or disappointed. But when I just kind of go with the moment, go with the day, and not worry about what's good or bad, or what's an achievement, or where have I been lackluster. When I don't think about that stuff, life feels really good.
Well, I think for me, what makes me really happy is my family. And not everyone can say that, because it depends on how the relationship is with their family, but I come from a mostly Italian-based family, and I mean, family is very important. Without my family, I probably wouldn't be here, just because of the situations that I've been in throughout my life. And I mean, they've provided such a great support basis, and I'm not the richest of people. I've grown up in very low-income environments. And I mean, my faith as well makes me very happy. It provides, my one of my moral bases, and something to hope for, and that's what makes me happy. Oh, and music too. I love music.
Oh yeah, music. I gotta imagine music makes everyone happy. Is there anyone who doesn't like music? Like, maybe you don't like a certain genre, but I guess
how can you not like music? There has to be something that correlates with the brain patterns of every individual.
Exactly. And you just start feeling better.
Sorry, poet.
Oh, you're good.
I find music really uplifting, actually. Like, whatever genre I'm listening to, for some reason it just makes me feel so much better when I need to. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but
it makes fantastic sense.
It does?
If that makes sense.
Wow!
It makes great
Thanks,
sense.
John.
Like, if you're having a bad day or something, and you just put on your favorite piece of music, it can really bring you up, because you're not thinking about your problems and all that type of stuff. You're just being in the moment of listening to those beats and rhythms and vocals and all that type of stuff.
Especially when the lyrics are exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true, but sometimes I get too caught up in the lyrics, and I actually listen really intensely to the lyrics, and then it has
crying.
the opposite effect. Yeah, pretty much.
Then don't listen to any suicidal music, please.
Oh
I'm
gosh.
begging you.
I'll try not to.
A lot of times I've been caught off guard. I'll be feeling really down after work. I'm tired and depressed, and I'm on my way home, and I'll have my music on shuffle, and a song will come on where all the lyrics say exactly what it seems like I needed to hear, and before you know it, your mood has done a 180.
Yeah, it's amazing how Shuffle does that, actually.
I wonder who runs Shuffle. Is it God?
No idea. It would be interesting to find out.
Someone should do a concept like that, like shuffle. God is a DJ.
Sounds like a science fair project almost.
DJ God. I imagine God would not be associated with dubstep.
I mean, I've thought a lot about this myself in terms of how I look at happiness, and the more I think about it, it's kind of, at least for me, it is interconnected with pain a little bit, because obviously there's the feeling good and the experiencing pleasure aspect of happiness, but if you haven't experienced pain, then happiness doesn't feel as good.
Damn, that's true.
That's very insightful.
Because the best, I guess you could say that the bad times make the good times feel even better.
At least
No,
I
that's
try.
actually-
I try to say that to myself, because I have experienced a lot of bad times, and so like when I do experience a bad time, I think about it. Well, maybe a good time is around the corner, and I'll have some time to reflect on this, and maybe later on it'll become something I can just look back at and say, "Oh wow, I overcame that too." So that's. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
You know, I used to do this really crazy thing. I'm glad I don't do it anymore. But when I would be happy, I would remind myself that it's not going to last. And I would start to get down again. And it was awful that I would do this, but I would just keep, whenever I felt good, I would be like, this is just a temporary emotion, right? You're going to also feel bad probably tomorrow, or you'll feel nothing at all the day after that. So don't get too caught up in the feeling. Very, very trapping ways.
Oh my god.
I know, right? It was awful. I don't do it anymore. I think weed solved that. But
Weed makes it easier to just savor the moment, right?
exactly when I'm not,
Would an ecstasy do that as well?
I'd hope so. I don't know. I've never done that though. So anyway,
We on this show are not encouraging drug use, even though it kind of seems like we are encouraging drug use.
I think people should explore it. Have any of you heard of like ayahuasca and such? No,
Are you
I've
talking
wanted to
about
try
that one-
stuff.
DMT.
Yeah, it's a very potent hallucinogenic drug. It is said to trigger these really life-changing visions. Then apparently the high is really not friendly.
No,
Like, you're not going to get addicted to it because it's really not cool.
it's like a once in a lifetime thing, right?
Yeah, you'll get really sick. Apparently, you'll vomit or get diarrhea, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But it's been known to turn lives around. And actually, a doctor who I respect quite a lot here in Canada, named Gabor Mate, was using it for quite some time to handle drug addiction, until the Canadian government cracked down on him because he was using a drug.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool though. It's tied very heavily into the whole shamanistic culture in the Amazon, and a lot of people believe that the visions brought on are a gift from the Amazon, or the Earth Mother, like the All Mother herself.
It's also true you can die though, right? In the experience, is that possible?
Not that I've heard of.
Oh, okay. I just thought I've heard that it's not something like with all the risk, it's not like you can get high off a pot and maybe do something stupid, but apparently with ayahuasca or such, maybe you don't necessarily come out unscathed. Just putting that out there.
I think for me, what makes me happy is just being me and not being the person that everybody else expects me to be. Because
That's what makes you really happy.
yeah, but just being myself, because that's like the best person that I can be. So yeah,
Interesting.
Powerful. That was
I,
powerful.
I know for some people it's probably the complete opposite when they're truly themselves, but yeah, I think that's what makes me truly happy.
You just feel very personally empowered because you don't hold yourself back.
Yeah.
I try not to. Sometimes I do, but in those moments I realize that like those are the moments that get me down. So it's like why wouldn't I be me?
You know,
Well, that's good. That's good.
I
I mean, some people they kind of live in a shell, and some people when they come out of that shell, or when if they just put it behind them, they feel very empowered and confident.
so you have this in your life, Kiwi. You have a family that makes you feel good being yourself.
most of the time, yeah.
You see, I think everyone wants that. I think that that's like the ultimate goal for every human being, even if it's just like not what you imagine. Like maybe for Kiwi, the family is like they're all beautiful and there's beaches and everyone's so happy. But for someone else, maybe it's the same thing. The people are glad, like you can be yourself completely, and that's who they like best. Whoever you are as yourself. But maybe it's like
And when people like you as being yourself.
yeah, maybe it's like a shitty environment, but as long as you got those people around you, it's a good experience. And to kind of correlate this back to when we're talking about music making us happy, anyone heard the Cheers theme?
I've
Yes,
heard
you
it.
got it stuck in my
Please
head
feel free
the
to
other
sing
day,
it for
bro.
us.
Well, you know, no,
I don't know.
the song talks about, you go to this place where everyone's always glad you came, and everyone knows your name, and it doesn't matter what your troubles are, everything's all the same. And that's like the happiest place. Like listening to that song, that feels like utopia right there. Like they're not talking about this place where there's world peace and no one's starving. No, all that shit's still going on, but you can still just be in your skin, and everyone's happy about that.
I've actually
kinda-
watched that show a few times. It's an old show. I think it's from the 80s. But what struck me about it is how genuine all the characters are.
Right, right, and you know why they're genuine? Because exactly what we're talking about. That when you are your genuine self, like that's
Oh, I see.
you see.
I didn't know that was a show.
Oh, you didn't? I feel so old now. Thanks.
So,
Fuck.
so going from what Poet was saying, the lyrics are where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see all our troubles are the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. That's kind of the chorus, I think.
Don't you love that? Come on.
I guess, yeah.
Is
I
that
don't
not
mind.
what everyone really wants? Like, and if
Ultimately, I would agree that people want that.
but I'm always extra happy when I'm high, so maybe tomorrow I'll be all brooding and shit. Fuck cheers.
All right, so this last question comes from Doc. And Doc asks something in regard to a inconsiderate coworker. And they're wondering how to deal with that type of person. How do you deal with an inconsiderate coworker? My colleague takes off when there's heavy work and doesn't consider it to be hard on others. This she does in a smart way, so there's no point complaining to the boss. It just bothers me that she is inconsiderate of me in spite of my honesty, and this happens a lot. I mean, wherever I go, there will be people who get jealous of me and start to trouble me even if I just mind my own business. I'm very sure I don't do anything that annoys people. So what is it that makes people be so inconsiderate of me? Or how do I deal with them? Now, in my opinion, people are going to do stuff like this within any work situation you go to. It kind of again, this isn't that's more of a general statement. It's not going to be every single workplace, but in general, there will be times where coworkers will do shit that will baffle you. Like there will be some sort of quirk or some sort of inconsideration that coworkers don't have. That's just because they're individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing of it is it seems like if you can't complain to your boss, then there's only one way to deal with that, and that's head on. And that is state to the coworker that that what they're doing is wrong, or be professional about it, and say, hey, I really don't like what you're doing, or hey, this you're affecting everyone else when there's a time where we need you, and you're just kind of bailing off. And say if something isn't done about this, then hey, I will need to talk to the boss about it because it's a problem.
And the thing is,
it's an ethical thing. It's completely ethical. Because I hate. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I hate confrontation within the workplace.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just necessary. Sometimes you have to, in order to get a problem resolved, confrontation has to be done in order to resolve that problem.
but before having a confrontation, you have to think about it. Why is this even possible? It's possible because other people stay behind and complete the work. So let's say if you were to leave as well, and there would be no one else to stay behind, then obviously a problem would arise, and it would kind of force the change to happen. And so I don't know the details, but this person should really think, obviously they're not bound to stay and complete the other person's work. I mean, if she's leaving behind work for them, this person can just leave as well. And maybe she's just the kind of person that is really altruistic, and doesn't like to leave work. I mean, she really values her workplace, and she values being a model worker, but sometimes you have to kind of not let yourself get stepped on, as Jim said.
Stu, didn't you have a thing last year with a coworker? You had to step to the dude?
Or he wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah, I think that was it.
The one where I told the coworker that she should take her piss poor attitude and shove it.
Well, let's go with both of those. I mean,
tell
us the story.
The first one is that I was working with a friend who is particularly dense. He was really slow at what he did, like frustratingly so. So I was already pretty mad. But he was saying that this way is the right way to do it, and I said no, it's this way. And his way was a lot slower, more a lot more deliberate, where mine was faster, more efficient. And it just so happened that the boss happened to be more on the slow class, or the slow school of thought. And so he said, no, do it that way. So this guy gets this smug, shit-eating grin on his face, just fucking like like a politician when he's ready to pounce on his opponent saying something stupid. And he just looks at me and goes, so, don't you have an apology to say? And I just looked at him and I said, I fucking, I couldn't even finish the sentence. I must have turned colors because he turned off. He didn't say anything. He said, why are you so mad? I said, you better stop freaking talking.
Oh, wow.
He kept on like, whoa, wait, whoa, what? And I said, you bite your tongue. Bite it.
I'm getting mad just hearing this.
And he wouldn't leave it alone. And I was in complete silence. I was really, really frustrated. Anyway, so I'm waiting, it's the end of the shift. We're all, changed. I'm ready to walk home. It's the middle of summer. It's warm. All that. And he's got his car. And I'm thinking to myself, why isn't he gone already?
Oh.
And so he sees that I'm getting ready to leave, and so he goes outside and he waits for me outside the back door. Says, "Oh, come on, man. I just feel like there was a lot of aggression there, and I just kind of want to talk about it. I mean, you were really quite just visceral to me there, and I just feel really bad about it." And I just put as much spite and just malice and like fuck off into one statement, and I said, "Okay." And he said, "Oh, all right," and he just got into his car and fucked off.
Jeez.
And you know what? I'm not once again not proud of how I handled that. I could have done it a lot better, but
Still, that was kind of outrageous.
yeah, I just wanted to be left alone, and he wouldn't do it. And it's not like I was keeping it a secret. I kept on telling him, like, "Can you just leave me alone?" And nope.
What happened the next day, or what transpired after that? Did he leave you alone at all?
No,
or
he sent
did
me
he-
this condescending message on Facebook.
on Facebook. A coworker on sending you something on Facebook. Why?
Because he's like, well, I knew him beforehand. I went to high school with him. And he's a really eccentric is a good word for him, although it might be a little bit flattering at times. He's a nice kid. He's a really good kid, but he's kind of a dummy. And I don't know, he just sent me this whole condescending message about how he didn't want our friendship to end right there and how the next move was mine, and
What the fuck?
I more or less told him, I said, if you can take that and like take that to the bank for all it's worth, they'll give you all 5 cents. And
Jesus.
yeah, and he kept on trying over the next few months to get me to, just apologize, and I kept on telling him, screw you, I'm not doing that. And until finally he said, okay, you know what? Fine. I admit that I was wrong for badgering you the way I did. And I said, okay!
Oh my gosh.
I that's what I was waiting for. And then finally we started talking again.
You know what would have been interesting? As if you had done whatever task you needed to do your way.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it the other way. Just completely rebel and say, hey,
Well, the way
I'd want to do it eventually.
it was a 2-man job, and the portion of it was his end of it. So I said,
What were you
we
doing?
were washing dishes.
Oh my god. We're dishwashing.
Yeah.
Really?
Are you kidding me? It's not that.
Feel free to
Oh
let me in on
my
the joke anytime now.
No, it's dishwashing in general. It's not that we're degrading you in regard to your job. It's just it sounds so ridiculous over that quote unquote field.
Okay, yeah.
It just seems so minute,
It's
man.
just-
Like it's dishwashing.
Listening to the story, you don't imagine that it could get that intense over dishwashing.
Clearly, you've never worked in a semi-formal restaurant.
No, I heard it's intense.
It's pretty cutthroat.
Jeez.
If someone doesn't pull their weight, everyone just pounces on them.
Shit, that's rough.
Because literally, if they can't pull their weight, everybody else gets dragged down with them. So it's
That's
kind of
very true.
It's
one big team.
yeah.
I honestly didn't know there were multiple methods to dishwashing.
Well, he was a fan of the school of thought that says I should scrub at this plate for like 45 seconds solid and then move on to the next one. Now,
Oh, so like OCD type stuff.
yeah, but not even OCD, just like more like I've been doing Valium for the past 3 hours kind of stuff. Like I watched him do it, and he was just like, just swishing his hand over and over. He holds it up to the light, looks at it, swishes his hand over and over and over again. He repeats that like 2-3 times, puts it in, pulls another plate off the stack of 60, and repeats. And
Don't they all go through a sterilizer, those two?
Yes, they do. They go through a machine that blasts
Oh my goodness.
with enough chemicals to deforest Vietnam. And still he's fussing over these damn plates, and he's like, I'm slow but reliable. And I'm thinking, you could.
If you have that machine, then it just makes sense to do more of a big picture cleaning versus pay attention to detail cleaning.
Exactly.
Oh my.
And so what was your method? Just kind of scraping everything off and going to the next thing? Or well, running water over it or something?
Yeah, you blast it with water, and if there's still stuff on it, you scrub it real fast, and then you throw it into the rack. I mean, I know this job isn't glamorous, but it's what's getting me through university. It all comes down really to just like he was taking 30-40 seconds, I take 2.
Jesus, that's like actually a big deal if you're the person running that business.
Yeah.
And when you have lots and lots of plates coming in, that's a massive deal as well.
Jeez.
What you said it was semi-high class or something?
No,
like
I don't
that?
want to say semi-high class, but like it's not like a Subway or a McDonald's or something like that where you just, you kind of, I'm gonna make your food. All right, get the fuck out. It's like, it's more of a, they sit down, the waiters bring them shit, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Do you
Okay,
still work?
That was a great story.
So, Stu, I laughed before, and I now have to explain why. Because
Okay.
I now feel really bad. Okay, so because it is so silly that happened over dishwashing. But number 2, because I have also been in a similar experience. So that's why I was laughing.
Please share that with us.
Just with the fact that my husband works in hospitality, being a chef, I've seen things from both sides of the spectrum, both being in the kitchen and being out of the kitchen. And yeah, I was just laughing because it's highly entertaining when you're out of the kitchen but seeing all of this going on. And that has happened many times. And then my husband comes home from work and I end up hearing all the stories about what's happened. And yeah, it's just really interesting.
What was one of the most ridiculous stories you've ever heard from him?
Oh goodness, I don't know. There's so many. I guess one of them would be in relation to the context of the question, with people not pulling their weight. Just the fact that, how do I say this without being rude? Just the fact that one or two
Yeah, you
people
gotta be rude.
do not pull their weight at all and cannot handle certain size groups that they're cooking for, because it's at a camping facility. So they have different size groups ranging from like a group of 30 to a group of 200, 400, whatever, all throughout the year, coming in and going, and then the next group will come in the same day or the next day. And one of his co-workers just does not deal well with being under extreme pressure in the kitchen, and many times the subject has come up of how this person is still working in this facility when they cannot handle that pressure, yet he or one of the other chefs can handle that pressure fine by themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does this person wear lipstick?
Yes, and way too much jewelry for a kitchen as well.
I'm going to give my little account to Confrontation for things that are relevant to this person's question here. So, I used to work for a furniture company. I would have to drive a truck and deliver furniture and work as part of a team with other people within the company. But I always had someone by my side assisting me and you spend a lot of time with that person. One of the things I had an issue with was with my first coworker, who I worked with for about a period of 6 months, was the fact that he would like to sit in the passenger seat and he wouldn't want to drive. And keep in mind, when you're doing deliveries and you have 7 to 10 usually per day, you'd be basically driving, for you drive like as if you're driving to California or something. You know what I mean? You could drive to California in the amount of time that we do deliveries. Actually, that doesn't even include a whole day.
Well,
of deliveries.
We're not all in Oregon though.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
And Kiwi is geographically confused, right?
Yeah.
And Jim, I just have to ask you,
from
you get paid the same, right? Regardless of whether you're driving or passenger, right?
Yeah, but keep in mind, at first, I mean, you would get really tired driving, plus delivering furniture, plus doing transfers, plus loading it and all that type of stuff. There's a lot of work that involves doing deliveries.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but you're traveling for over 250 miles every day.
That's crazy.
And sometimes there are a couple times where we've driven throughout the state and gone 300 plus miles. I know I've had a 14-hour day before. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work and a lot of driving, and so it's also my driving record on the line if something happens.
Oh wow!
And so it's more likely that I would get into an accident if it was just me driving all the time, and then he wouldn't be to blame. I'd be to blame. So I confronted him multiple times about it. He didn't want to budge, and I was even considering transferring departments, so that way I wouldn't have to deal with this guy. But then there was one time I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I need you. And I raised up the ante. Instead of trying to want him to drive every other day or something like that. I said, hey, I'll drive throughout the day, but you're gonna drive me home. And it takes usually from the city that we normally go to, which is the Albany Corvallis area, back to Springfield, which the distributing center is located. That's about 45 minutes, and that's just hey, that's not much compared to what I'm doing, or something, or alternate days, or something. And the guy was pissed at me. He was even said "screw me" in the process.
Oh wow!
He was really mad about it, and then later on reconsidered, and I told him, well, hey, I told him a couple of things, and he realized that I was genuine about the entire thing, and we're actually friends now because he reconsidered that. I still talk to him this day. I still golf with him, and we do a bunch of things. And it's really awesome because he's a really awesome guy, and he just sometimes he kind of look past that inconsideration.
I really like that. So even when you get really upset with someone, you still manage to kind of see the best in them. Yeah,
I mean, he did that as well. But the thing of it is I never really got really frustrated. I didn't result to saying anything like that. I kept my calm throughout the entire thing. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to talk to my boss about this because I can't deal with this anymore. But it was cool. It was really cool that he reconsidered. If he hadn't, then I would have not been in contact with him until to this day. And then once he left, and I got a new coworker, we had some issues too. But see, confrontation. If you talk to somebody and set the line straight and make it clear what's going on, sometimes that can have a very positive effect. And in the long run, it may not work out every time, but it's worth a shot, at least, confronting your coworkers, because they're people too. They're not just some robot that has to do everything by the book. Or if there's something that they're doing wrong, such as leaving while, in this person's case, when there's a heavy workload going on, then bring that to their attention, say that's not right. and hopefully that will allow a change to happen within that person's workplace that's going on.